Welcome to Wonder Woman.
Welcome to Wonder Woman.
All right.
I'm the scat man.
All right. So, welcome back to another Spoilercast. Today is Wonder Woman by
Yes, today's Wonder Woman Day.
DC.
National Wonder Woman Day.
National Wonder Woman Day. It is a treasure to all mankind. So, how long was that movie? Was that a 2-hour movie?
That was a long movie.
That was a long movie.
That was a long movie. It was almost, because it started at like 3 and we were leaving at like
It started
5:30?
It started like 3:10. Yeah, we left.
So it must have been like a 2-hour 20-minute movie or something. Like,
yeah.
Like getting in the territory of like Fellowship of the Ring or something, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
And as you'd expect, it's an excellently told, densely packed story with a nice, tight script. I almost said, well, screenplay is what I was thinking of, but I almost said a nice, tight screenwrite. I'm like, that's not a word.
He might be.
That's almost a word.
You never know if that guy's tight.
Yes, screenwrite. Come over here.
Screenwrite, come here. Let me check your anus. I need to make sure it's nice and tight for the audience.
All right, well, that's how we're starting this, apparently.
And yeah, so anyways...
So we saw it with Joe. He didn't make it. Well, I mean,
you need to preface that. You can't just say he didn't make it.
He couldn't make it to the spoiler cast.
Okay.
He had to go. He's here. He's enjoying his last week in the United States.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, he won't be going
on time because Wonder Woman is a long as fuck movie.
Yeah.
And he didn't have time to stick around afterwards.
He also died.
He was loudly booing during the credits, which I've never experienced.
I was
in theaters or from Joe.
Yes.
That's like the most that's like the loudest he's ever been.
Yeah, in a public place.
In a public place, he's like showing discontent. And I'm like, he barely speaks up when he's in a room surrounded by friends.
Yeah.
So that was an experience that I never knew could happen.
Yeah. I didn't boo it just because I don't boo movies.
No, I've never experienced that before.
But I can understand his plight. But so let's get behind ourselves.
We saw Wonder Woman. It's the next DC cinematic universe, the fourth cinematic universe movie.
Remember,
already.
It's also the last one before Justice League.
Yeah, which is weird because we don't even know who Cyborg and Flash are. Or Aquaman.
Well, you know who Flash is.
Is Aquaman coming before or after?
Aquaman's coming after Justice League.
Well, here's the problem. I don't know Flash. Because the Flash from the television shows, which is the only good DC property in the last, however many years it's been since Dark Knight, which is probably a decade now.
Yeah.
That's a different character.
Wait, what?
The Barry Allen, I think it's Barry Allen in the movies too, is a different character.
It is a different actor?
Yeah. It's not... The CW universe is not canonically part of the DC cinematic universe. Which is important to notice because, yes, like for Marvel, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canonically part of all the other Marvel movies universe. It has characters and actors from it.
Yes.
But no, that likable Barry Allen actor dude isn't in the DC cinematic universe. And also the DC Flash looks like he's covered in chrome and like weird, way too bright, way too nasty looking. Like it looks like a Transformers thing. Or actually, no. It has that weird... translucent weird like thing where like the color doesn't look even anywhere, like from the Power Rangers movie.
It's like Green Lantern suit.
It's like kind of like Green Lantern and also like the Power Rangers costumes in the new one, where it's this weird like it looks like like what's it called, like in the body of a motorcycle, that top part where like if they color it with that weird chromy like color thing where you look at different angles and it doesn't quite ever look uniform and stuff. It's really weird looking.
Okay, good.
And not superhero-y looking.
Good.
Whereas
because that
in
red
the Flash
suit,
television show, he's just wearing a red leather suit.
That suit would have been so hard to get made.
Like I don't know if you've seen the Flash show really, but it looks kind of like the Daredevil suit from Netflix. It's just red.
You mean they could have just made a suit? They could have just made a suit and had him wear it?
We're so off track already.
In any case, so this movie has no has no tie-ins to any of the previous DC Universe stuff, except for one very casual letter from Batman.
The movie's framed as something that must have happened after Batman vs. Superman, I guess, because she's now met Batman, and she gets a letter like, "Here, we got this old photo of you from World War I," and then she like flashes back to the entire movie happening. And then at the end of the movie, she's like, "Thanks, Batman." And I'm like, "Why was this framing device here? Did this need to be contextualized as happening after BVS somehow?"
It has to, because otherwise you'd be wondering why she would even remember her past.
You could have put out the movie Avengers, and then put out Captain America, where he gets frozen at the end, and not have to be like, "This is Steven Rogers remembering how he got here." It's like, no, you just fucking show it, and then like obviously he's in the past because it's World War II.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's not in World War II anymore because he got frozen and came here. Like, we don't need to make that. Like, it's such a pointless framing device to make like shitty narration happen.
Yeah.
But the shitty narration doesn't exist for a reason either, because it's not like it's going to happen throughout the movie to explain things. She just narrates the beginning to be like, "I was once optimistic," or something and stuff. And then and then we drop the framing device immediately, which means that it's not really a framing device, it's just a padding thing.
It's just that's a good word to use for a lot of this movie. It's just padding.
Well, I mean, that it's something that should have been edited out. Like, I understand filming the idea of like, what if we frame it like it's her thinking about the past, but like it's the type of thing that should have been edited out because the movie is so long.
Yeah.
And it doesn't add to the movie in any way. So like, it's the type of thing that you would like. It's
like, I still don't even understand.
It's like how in Ant-Man, they're like, we're gonna randomly go to the Avengers headquarters and fight that like D-list like Hawk guy.
Yeah.
For a second, because we got to acknowledge the other movies for some reason, just for the sake of it. Like that's that kind of awkward like studio interference type thing, which I guess is how that seems to be what's really a big part of the DC movies, is that it's like this mandated how the movies are going to work, and then they just have to work with that.
It does feel like there's some kind of like underlying chain holding them down to something.
What's going to happen here, though, is we're going to disagree about this movie,
and that's fine. I think it's a movie that deserves disagreement, but I think there are a lot of things I will not stand for.
You didn't like it at all, right?
I didn't like it at all, but there are things.
I liked the first 75% of it, more or less. But I was never like, yeah, this is great. I'm having so much fun. It's like I'm watching Edgar Wright or something. It's like, no, this is fine.
I didn't have fun till the action scenes kicked in.
Which ones?
As soon as the first action scene where okay. I'll get to the point.
We can surely agree that the ending sucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to that, I guess, in chronological order.
Okay, so it starts off with Diana being a child, Wonder Woman being a child, running around the what the fuck was it called? I can't remember.
They always said it really fast.
She always says it super fast for something. It's like
Mistralia or something.
It starts with an M.
Yeah, I think it's Mistralia or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
It sounds like the word like the mist from the old like adventure games.
Either way, she's running around that island with a bunch of women, Amazonian women, and watching them like fight and do stuff. And her mom shows up and she's like, "You can't fight because you're not supposed to." And is okay. Well, that's not how you raise children, to not do that thing you don't want them to. But but I'm assuming that Wonder Woman will never leave this island to go fight anybody.
It's an island where we're shown literally nothing that anyone does ever on the entire island. Period. Besides train.
Yeah,
that's the only thing you see any person do on the entire island for the very lengthy amount of time we spent on that island.
Yes,
they're old people fighting and training. But apparently, this one girl's like the only person on the island that's not allowed to train. Like, what? She's gonna go watch forever? Like, I
don't even know what she would do.
They don't introduce anyone who does anything else ever.
Yeah,
I assume they do. Someone has to be making like food and shit.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, what would she do? Would she just be like the most like a super strong baker?
It reminded me of when I watched Man of Steel, which I put myself through. Did you ever watch that? Ever?
I think I saw the first one, but I didn't see the second one.
It goes Man of Steel and then it goes Batman vs Superman. There's no other super. Well, all the other Superman movies were different Superman from like 10 years and 20 and 30 years ago.
Was Superman Man of Steel? Was that the one where his dad shows up?
Is it Harry Carvel or something? The new Superman guy is. Yeah, he.
That's the one with his dad that comes up on the ship, right? And he's like, "Let me just tell you how to get out of here."
Where his dad's a hologram.
Yeah. I've seen that movie then.
Yeah. That was So that movie was so hard to get through that it's the reason I didn't see Batman vs Superman.
Okay.
Because watching another Superman movie with that character is not enough reason to watch a movie for me anymore. The first one was just too unwatchable. Like, there was a few minutes where I was kind of into it here and there, but then overall it was just like this monotone, throbbing dread for the entire movie.
Okay.
The entire movie is just everyone's miserable in every direction at all times, and Superman's a shitty person, and everyone sucks, and no one makes sense, and then villains show up to fuck up the shitty planet, and they suck too, and everyone sucks all the time. And all the way up to the ending where that was stupid as fuck, where it's like, Superman had to kill him. I'm like, no, he didn't. He didn't have to kill shit.
I mean...
I thought it was like, oh, I'm slowly rotating my head and lasers are coming out. How will you save this family? Could you, like, go over there and get them? Or maybe just, if you have the power to break my neck, maybe just turn my head in any direction besides that, because lasers coming out the front. But no, you can't just do that. You gotta kill Zod for some reason.
It is weird given that, like, Superman has the ability to be faster than Flash.
Yeah.
So, like, you're telling me you literally couldn't fly...
Couldn't save that family.
Couldn't save that family by flying over there, grabbing them, and flying away?
Spoilers for Superman, by the way, apparently. Spoilercast for all of DC movies we've seen, apparently.
So, in any case, the point being that...
I couldn't bring myself to watch Batman vs. Superman because I don't want to see a Batman that's introduced in someone else's movie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see another Superman movie that's not Superman. Because, like, Superman's supposed to be this, like... He's supposed to be what Captain America is in his movie. Which is the point is he actually is the Boy Scout everyone thinks he is.
Yeah.
And not ironically, and not, like, with reservations. Like, it's like, no, he's going to just always be the good guy.
Yeah, he's always there to save the day.
That's the point.
Like, that's the point, yeah.
If you compromise that, then you're like, oh, it's some other guy.
Yeah, Superman is flawless.
That's the point.
Like, that's the point.
That's the whole point.
He's supposed to be flawless to a T.
And this one, he's a creepy, murderous alien, and he snaps someone's neck because in literally the first movie, he's already not good enough to be the guy that doesn't kill.
Yeah.
He couldn't make it one movie.
So, okay, again, we're getting off track.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So so she's on the island learning to train. No one wants her, or her mom doesn't want her to become a warrior. And then her aunt, I guess, because she said the queen said it was her sister,
which was distractingly was definitely that one. It's Kevin Spacey's wife from House of Cards.
Yeah,
I was like, that's all I could think about. I'm like, oh, she's gonna die because she has to go back to House of Cards, and then she died.
Okay, so while we're here on the island talking about it, can I just point out that accents are just don't do it?
They seem to just have a made-up accent. That's like the all accent.
It just sounds really dumb.
It's like
because not everyone could uniform to it. So then you had some people who are just like,
so
what are you doing?
They seem to contextualize it under the idea that like they speak like 100 languages or something. So it's like, how the fuck? Like how she's not very old, is she? How does she speak that many? Okay, sure. Maybe
also
they
more
drank from fucking the babble juice.
It's also more concerning.
Then it taught them the languages.
Remember, it's also more concerning she knows German, but has never heard of the Germans.
Yeah. That's pretty hard. Like, they don't just know. They're isolationists for some incredible amount of time to the point where they
Since the beginning of time.
Like, they still believe in gods and everything.
Greek gods.
Yeah. But they speak modern languages.
Yes.
Fluently. While not knowing that those countries exist.
But also, you have to remember they can't leave the island.
She even speaks Chinese. She definitely speaks German and Chinese and obviously Greek.
And Arabic.
And English.
So... And what was the other one?
I've heard one reason behind the accent stuff. And...
It's because the actress has an accent?
Yeah, the lead actress has like, I think she might have like an Israeli accent or something.
Yeah, she does.
So they're like, we can cover up this a little bit by having everyone kind of just have vague accents.
You can also get a new actress.
Well, this is what we're going to get to, is the idea that like nothing about what happens in this movie really strikes me as like the lead actress being anywhere like particularly talented.
No.
Is she just is she a model or something? Because I don't remember her from anything.
She's not a fucking actress.
She doesn't seem like an actress.
No, she's because every fucking shot is her making a pose. Yeah, you notice that?
It seems like they think acting is that she just needs to have like glistening eyes and like a really good gaze.
And man,
she always she's like, ooh, head wobble, and her hair is like going slow motion. Her hair is
always perfect,
and her eyes are piercing. And I'm like, yeah, sure, got piercing eyes. I mean, Elijah Wood did that too in the Lord of the Rings movies, but like also he had to act besides that. Like, sure, he had the really bright blue eyes that kept zooming in on like almost too much, but like he also had to do a bunch of acting in those movies.
I just want to see a picture now, like a meme of like who did it better, and it's just like Elijah Wood and
a bunch of piercing gazes. It turns into like that one, like the hero pose with the sword going at the camera, but it's just the same gaze from 500 different people.
So, okay. So I'm glad we can agree that the accent thing is
the accent wasn't great, but you kind of get over it relatively fast just because
I just-
once you get off the first island, you never see another person with that accent again besides the protagonist.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Just she has a made-up accent because she's from a made-up place. Sure, whatever.
I mean,
it was only-
Israel is a real place, Keith. You can't just ignore that.
Does she just have an Israeli accent?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's just an Israeli
I mean,
accent.
I thought that maybe in the movie she was doing a fake accent still,
She's
but
like
just not very well.
She's trying to cover it because you can't just have a flat-out Israeli accent and expect other people to do that accent.
So what they do throughout the movie to try to hide that she's not a great actress is they kind of hide her like physically behind Chris Pine,
yeah,
who generally is a pretty good actor because he's fine in this movie.
he's okay. Yeah,
Like if he does anything stupid, it's the movie's fault.
He's
but, like,
actually relatively good at acting. All
Yeah.
of his scenes where he's floundering around,
Yeah.
it feels
like
genuine.
like the boat scene where
Yeah.
he's like I can't sleep next to you because it's rude to assume and like no well fine I'll sleep next to you. Next, like,
yeah,
there's so
like
many
it
little,
felt really
great
good.
things.
Watching him, I was like, "What? Oh my god, there's acting."
He's
And
grown
then-
up in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I was like, "Wow, he's doing so good." And then like
What,
then
Star Trek? What 2009 was Star
Yeah.
Trek? Before that, no one knew he existed. I assume.
yeah, I don't think he existed.
Said he was
before
in a
then.
train movie.
He was literally non-existing of a human until Star Trek.
He spawned into being the
Just for
moment.
Star Trek. But no, like yeah, all of his scenes, I was like, wow, this is like he's into it. Like he's actually
Yeah.
into this role.
He's good.
Yeah,
And the good news is that he's also in basically the entire movie. Once he shows up.
he's in like 95% of that movie.
Yep. Until he suddenly dies with almost no build-up.
He had some build up. You just couldn't hear it because it was for like fucking 5 minutes.
So his death was super awkward at the end of the movie.
Let's just
No, I just want to fucking talk about it now. It's fine. We can bounce all the fuck over. It's our
can,
show.
but-
We have creative control over this. Also, I already said he dies. So
you spoiled it, Keith.
that's the point. But what was really weird about the way they handled his death ultimately is that usually there's like some kind of build up to the death, but instead he just slips that little watch that they made a big deal about at the beginning of the movie, slips up to Wonder Woman, then just runs off to sacrifice himself without a word.
Well, they
But then
yeah.
after he's dead, they then show the scene that is the scene you always do before someone sacrifices themselves, where they kind of reveal what they're going to do, and they're like, "No, don't," and then they're like, "No, I have to."
Yeah.
And all that that thing
Well,
happens.
they did that.
but they showed it afterwards, which is bizarre.
No, they did. They still did it beforehand.
They kind of didn't.
Yeah, because he was like, because remember he was talking about.
He's like, is it flammable?
Yeah, he
That's
said,
like
"Is it
the one
flammable?"
line.
And the guy was like, "Yeah, it's hydrogen. It's flammable." And then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go take care of it." And he runs off, and they're like, "No, wait, stop."
His best plan was to just blow. Like,
His best plan was to take the plane, but not ground the plane.
he had complete control.
Or put it in the
over
ocean.
He had complete control over the plane, and his best solution was to point backwards and shoot into the canisters to blow himself up, as opposed to like maybe take a parachute and maybe do that grenade trick he did earlier in the same movie.
He could
blow something up.
again, Keith. He could also have thrown it into the water.
Yeah, where no one would be able to get it.
It's just
because there's no fucking Magneto in this universe.
It's just mustard gas.
Yeah.
It has to be in the air. If mustard gas goes off in the water, oh no! It's
And it probably wouldn't even go off. It would just sink down there and
yeah.
bye
Well,
bye.
it was on a timer. It was on an explosive timer. So the ship was supposed to just blow up anyways.
If you really need to blow it up in the air, like surely he could have found a parachute. They had parachutes already. I think.
I thought his plan was he was just going to coast it into the sky, and then I thought he was just going to jump. I didn't think he was going to like legitimately blow the fucking thing up.
Yeah,
with,
he
his
didn't.
gun.
He didn't even jump out. He just stayed there in the pilot seat and suicided.
Yeah,
which
he
was a
like kind of
weird
did.
move.
He kind of did this like very off-putting like, I did good, and then just turns around
Yeah.
and shoots it. Like what the
He just got Alderaan.
Why would you smile in that instance? I
Because
mean,
he has to die, so he can't be in the other movies, even though he'd probably be dead of old age because he's a World War I veteran.
yeah,
And I assume BVS is modern day.
yeah. Batman vs Superman's modern day.
So now we've discussed his death. Let's talk about how he gets into the movie in the first place.
So while on the island, we watch Diana grow as a woman, which is weird because they have like
played by a series of different young actresses.
yeah. So they have the child actor, then the teenage actor who's there for like a scene, and then they have the adult, the main actress.
Apparently, they were so good at hiding the fact that they were training her behind their back that she becomes a teenager before the mom discovers them ever.
Yes.
For the first time?
For the first time. That was the first thing I thought too when the mom was like, "You've been training all this time." I was like, Isn't she like 15 now?
Yeah.
I thought she started training when she was like 9. How the fuck did
Has it been like 7 years already?
How did you even find out now?
Where are you losing track of your daughter on this island where you do nothing besides keep track of your daughter?
Did you not notice your daughter had muscles? Like, nobody in that Amazon place is wearing like long sleeve button up shirts. No. They all have their arms exposed. How do you not see your like daughter's bustling biceps?
It's a weird detail just across the board, really.
Okay, so
that's muscles.
Yeah, so she has like bulging muscles. Anyway, so the mom discovers it. So the mom discovers that the daughter's been secretly training, and so then instead of like talking to the daughter about this whole thing, she just tells the daughter to go back to the palace, talks to her sister, and goes like, "Make her the strongest." And it's like, oh,
so this part of the movie sucked.
Yeah,
just waiting for her to be older. Like, just because it's like, oh, look, a child actress is like, why won't you train me, mommy? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you why. Why won't you train me, mommy? I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. And it just loops a few times until she gets older enough, enough for the movie to happen.
Pretty much. And then, then
she never tells her.
She never does. Her mom literally never raises that child properly. It's disgusting.
No, she gets raised by the first lady from House of Cards.
Not even then. No one teaches her shit. She just goes into this whole thing assuming like she just has to stab a sword in somebody. Like, no one tells her anything, which is like like I feel like that's the crux.
So what ultimately happens is Chris Pine in a fighter plane of the time.
Well, wait, we need to talk about the fight scene. When she has to prove that she is a warrior now.
And she's like all knowing and can see everything happening from every direction.
She can see everything happening from every direction. Every fucking action scene is just a shittier low-budget version of 300.
Where it keeps going slow, then fast, then slow, then fast, over and over again.
It's like somebody was like, well, we can't commit to the 300 thing, because that'd be dumb. But we can commit to half of it.
They're like, we have restraint.
Yeah. And like the restraint doesn't make it look even worse, because it's like, and because it does it in like the slow motion in such weird angles, you can obviously tell she's like on a rope. She's not just jumping.
Or more so, you can often tell that she's like a weird Jello person.
Yeah.
She's a CG character.
Yeah, if they do it in slow motion and CG at the same time, it's even more appallingly obvious. And it's so weird because there's a lot of CG in this movie, and a lot of it looks like they didn't have time to finish it.
Yeah. Although I will say I prefer this over the other thing that a lot of movies do lately, where you do a really shitty action scene that's all really filmed, but you try to cover up how shitty it looks by doing 17 cuts per second. Like every Liam Neeson movie now.
I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't doing... Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't doing...
Have you seen that video where like Liam Neeson just jumps over a fence, and that scene is like 25 cuts? And it's like, he's jumping over a fence. What the fuck? Like...
Yeah.
Cut it out of your movie if you can't fucking make it look good, because holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that it wasn't doing like ridiculous jump cuts everywhere. It wasn't it wasn't doing that thing where it's like turn around. You know, like every movement she does is a cut.
I could usually kind of at least tell what the action was I was supposed to understand I was seeing and during every fight scene.
Yeah, I can understand it. It just looked like shit. That's my only complaint, is that I was really upset that like the action scenes looked really shitty. So carry on. Then our main actor arrives.
Well, so what happens? They're doing the training because they've been the whole first part of the movie is like setting up that she's going to become super powerful, and despite her mom kind of not being into that. So her big training thing is like, now everyone's taking her on at once, and she's still winning. But like when she fights the super awesome like best warrior ever of their group, then for some reason her gauntlets explode.
She does a block real quick, and the block, like it, because of her emotions, set the gauntlets off.
She blocks the gauntlets, which makes them explode in a giant shockwave that knocks everybody over, which then nobody talks to her about.
Nope.
Which is weird. And she's just like apologizes and leaves, and then she just...
No, she apologizes.
She's just confused too.
Yeah, she apologizes and is told to like go away. Because she goes over to the lead warrior chick that she was trying to help.
Yeah.
And they were like, stop. And she's like, okay. And then just turns around and runs. And I was
I think they were telling her to stop because she was bleeding. Because she was trying to get up.
Oh.
Like, they were trying to tell her to stop, but then she just left because she, like, felt bad or something.
Oh, okay.
That she just needed to conveniently wander off and be completely alone so she could be the only person who sees Chris Pine crashing through their bubble.
Yeah.
They're in rapture.
By the way, good job, Zeus, on not making it a force field, but just a fucking bubble.
Yeah, it's...
like, what the fuck?
So they're in an invisible force field.
No, an invisible bubble.
Which seems to just emit mist or something on the outside to make people not go into it.
Yeah, it emits mist, but it also it's also impervious to weather change.
And I don't think we're never told where it was. It's just in the ocean somewhere.
It's just in the ocean somewhere.
Presumably between Germany and England, considering that's an English spy coming from Germany.
Yeah, all those oceans.
Well, there's the English Channel, I guess.
You're gonna put an island that big in the English Channel and no one knows it?
Well, it's magic.
I know, because he didn't come from Germany. Remember, his plane came from...
Right. We needed a map to try to plot out the
They showed one. He had a map when he was looking.
Did they show a map of where the island was, though?
No, they showed a map of where he was, and he was trying to figure out where he had come from and how he got there.
So Chris Pine comes in, but he's being chased by all the other people because he's a spy
by the Germans.
He's a spy that stole important documents about a chemical weapon, because World War I's all about chemical weapons and nightmare stuff like that. The Germans are coming in, they're gonna fuck up all the Amazons because they see each other, and they're like, I don't know who that is, let's all shoot each other.
Yeah, it was really...
So the two sides fight until the Germans are dead.
Yeah. And so during the battle between people with bow and arrows and Germans with guns and mortars... by the way, was that ship okay? You notice that one of the ships that was coming into that bubble was kind of capsizing?
There was a giant metal boat that was kind of leaning a bit.
It was leaning like...
Did we see what happened to that?
No, the boat never showed up. Everyone just came on rowboats, and then...
Yeah, we saw... Well, what the fuck happened in the movie? We saw... yeah, because we saw a beach battle.
Yeah.
And then there's a dramatic moment where House of Cards lady sacrifices herself to save Diana.
Yes.
And literally against the last soldier of the entire fight, apparently.
Also, apparently can't see behind you all of a sudden.
Yeah, even though she was omnipotent in the last fight scene, but also apparently, I guess House of Cards lady had zero special abilities towards bullets of any kind.
Yeah, she can't deflect bullets.
And I guess she lost her shield or something. Didn't she just have a... No, she didn't.
No.
She just used her bow.
Bow.
They specifically made her use her bow, so she'd be vulnerable to gunshots in the next shot.
Yeah. Because she had a shield. Or no,
so basically the last person of the entire fight shoots her.
Yeah.
Because Diana's not paying any attention. And then, the fight scene just ends.
Yeah, because...
as if the Germans are gone.
And even
though there was a giant boat.
Yeah, there's still a giant boat.
Which never shows up again.
And I don't think it ever left.
That's kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal.
We can't let Chris Pine go. He's going to tell everyone where our Amazon island is. What about the giant German boat that was just there?
Okay, goodbye, Germans. Have fun.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can almost imagine that wasn't in the script. And then the computer graphics artist put that in, and then nobody caught that it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens constantly. It's one of the worst parts about modern filmmaking is that so much of the movie is filmed and scripted and so on, and then they pass it off to editors and the CG people and everything, and the CG people make the most baffling stuff sometimes.
They just add stuff.
That's a good example of that, but then there's also anytime you have... It's like that one scene everyone forgets happened in The Force Awakens, where Han Solo's ship has a weird monster on it.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting the weird monster, and everyone deletes that scene from their brain because they forget it happened. Because a lot of movies have ultra dangerous monsters that are moving weirdly fast and flaily and shit, and no one's reacting to it properly about how dangerous it is and stuff like that. It always looks like that scene from Clone Wars where was it Padme's running around on the track and just every square inch around her is murder, and she's somehow not getting hit because she was just some person running around in a green screen.
Yeah.
And they just added so much shit to the screen that everything around her is death. And it's so imperceptible.
But she looks like she's just casually vaulting over stuff.
Yeah.
Where she's just it's just obstacles. Where it's no, this is literally a death trap. A cartoon
just
death
people are
trap.
just I'm just gonna earn my paycheck, add shit. It feels like that almost could be what goes on there with just a boat showing up.
And that's why I only remember because the boat, I saw the boat when they were all coming in. Yeah, the rowboats made sense. I was okay, yeah, the rowboats are coming in. But the fucking giant boat, I was this boat looks like it's about to capsize.
Yeah, the giant boat was super distinct of a visual when it first showed up.
Yeah.
And then I just never, because all the other shit's happening, I forgot that I think you never see it again.
You don't. And you never see it vanish or sail away.
That's bizarre.
It's weird.
Kind of because it would be a big spectacle to have the boat go down.
Yeah.
So I don't think that happened, or I would have probably remembered it. And they should really care about it leaving if they cared so much about Chris Pine leaving.
Yeah.
because they were going to kill him or imprison him forever or something because they didn't want him to leave and reveal the location of this island that's not very well hidden, apparently.
Well, it is. It's just not the airplanes.
It's just misty. So what happens is they tie Chris Pine up in the lasso of truth.
Yes.
Which they called its actual name based on whatever Greek god it's related to or something like
it's
that.
Like Mythia or something. Yeah.
I think it had an H in it, starting with it or something, but
Athena.
That's not it.
Heffertiti.
Was it Heffertiti?
No.
They tie him up and make him reveal that he's a spy and so on and so forth, and that's where you get the flashback where he steals like the document from like the evil chemical lady,
Miss Poison.
Dr. Poison.
Dr. Poison. Which, by the way,
has a very strange mask.
Wow, what a fucking child-like nickname to give somebody. Like that sounds like something kid...
Is that a comic book name?
It would be for kids, yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, is that a real name?
Dr. Poison? I don't think Dr.
DC?
Poison is like a legitimate character.
Because that's like
DC
exactly
universe.
the kind of dumb name I could see being in here.
It seems really dumb amid like World War One. You know, like a great war where people, like millions were dying. They were talking about. And it's like, but we got to stop Dr. Poison. What the fuck, Dr. Who?
I need a name for a DC character, a villain character, and what she does is she's a doctor and she creates poison. What should we call her?
And then just Stan Lee showed up that day to the fucking DC office. He's like, Dr. Poison, get out of here, Stan, with your shitty names.
Dr. Poison is the name of two fictional characters, supervillains, who appear in the DC Comics publications related oh my god.
Is it real?
Both villains are members of the supervillain team Villainy Incorporated and have appeared as a major reoccurring enemies for Wonder Woman.
Excuse me, what the fuck was that? Like, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen name kind of bullshit. That would have been an awesome costume.
So the picture I'm getting from the wiki is from Dr. Poison's debut in Sensation Comics number 2.
You mean a male?
Yeah, I think it's a guy.
It's a guy.
It's hard to tell because they got like a poopy top half, but they also look fucking bizarre. They're in all green with like a weird like. They look like what looks like the cap people wear under spacesuits.
Yeah,
where it's covering their whole head except for their face, and then they got just a straight up like horizontal black mask over their eyes.
Yeah, they just have like the Robin mask. Basically, or the Robin Hood mask. They just like cut holes into a fabric and put it around their eyes like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, for some fucking reason. But no, there's no mask or anything.
So they're both female. It looks like.
Oh,
there's Princess Maru from 1942. How weird is it to think that Wonder Woman literally dates back to World War II?
It's scary to think that.
Isn't that weird to think about?
It's weirder.
There's Marina Maru in 1999 in Wonder Woman 151.
So I guess it's a real character, which is unfortunate.
Which they brought back 60 years later, and then now 17 years later. Dear Lord, Wonder Woman is an old character.
Yeah, but so Dr. Poison was making mustard gas,
but this one's made of hydrogen, so it melts masks. That's the whole gimmick. Is that like
whatever?
It's not completely insane.
It's not insane. It's just
I have
boring.
no idea how mustard gas works chemically, so I don't know if that's a reasonable like thing to say that they just turn into hydrogen. I know that like gas warfare was a huge thing in World War One. That's part of why. Yeah, like
that's why it's part of the Geneva Convention.
The two horrible parts of World War One, more or less, or the three big things were basically trenches, machine guns, and chemical warfare.
Machine guns, not flamethrowers.
Well, it's chemical.
That's chemical.
Everything is chemical if you want to really say it is. Everything is chemicals.
Bullets, chemicals.
They are. It's chemical warfare. I just put that chemical inside of you.
What a shitty way to describe World War One.
I significantly increased your iron content.
Just call it the Great Chemical War.
Oh jeez! I just imagine like you'd get a graph of like the iron content spikes when the bullet goes in, then drops over time as all the blood comes out.
Any case,
someone's gonna need some Frosted Flakes.
So we're focusing on trying to. That's not iron. That's protein.
No, but, there's iron in cereal.
That's not okay.
Because you can use a magnet on cereal.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You mean like a legitimate magnet?
Yeah.
People eat that?
Yeah.
It's not okay. You're supposed to eat like literal iron.
Technically, you are. Yeah.
Yeah, but not to that degree. Like, not magnet level. I can't go to the fucking like Lucky's and buy a steak and hold a magnet over, and the steak attaches to the fucking magnet. Like, that's not how iron works, dude.
I don't remember if it was a magnet or not. There was something about it's been a long ass time. I saw something about like how I think it might be like how cereal floats around in milk and how it like. Something about how it groups up or something is indicative of like the iron content in it or something like that. Like,
okay, because I'm like,
there's some sort of behavioral thing you can look up on YouTube.
I'm saying I'm not going to take a magnet, put it on my heart, and it stays there because there's so much iron going through it.
I think it might have been a Veritasium video where it was like, how's this thing happening with cereal? And the answer was that there was iron in it or something. It's not that important. We're really getting around here. We haven't left the Amazon island yet. We're 40 minutes in,
taste you can see. In any case, I don't know, a cereal reference. So
it's just random cereal reference.
Yes. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the taste you can see, son.
What does it have to do with iron content?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is iron.
How do you know? You didn't know that until a second ago that anything had iron in it.
30% iron.
I think cereal's actually meant to be like an iron supplement for children. I think that's actually part of the idea.
Just give them some iron. They'll suck on anything.
Because like Kellogg's was like this super religious dude that was trying to make like nutritious things for.
Are you really about to do the fucking history of Kellogg's in the middle?
Oh shit! That was. I just remembered that Kellogg's was making cereal to occupy children so they wouldn't masturbate.
What?
Your cereal's fucking weird. All right, so there was the fight where the boat disappeared. The magical disappearing boat. Got distracted by Kellogg's, forgot to masturbate.
Thank God no one masturbated.
Right out of existence.
Yeah. So,
they put the lasso of truth on him. They interrogate him. It's like, I need to go get the chemical thing over the place.
We meet Dr. Poison and who we assume is Ares.
Yeah.
I don't even know what his name was. Von Bunderten.
Lundenberg or something? Like, it's one of those vaguely...
Some German name.
Started with an L.
Yeah,
a lot of names to keep track of in some parts of this movie. I just remember him as being a violin guy from American Horror Story.
I don't know.
I recognized a lot of people in this movie from television shows.
Oh, well,
specifically television, not for movies.
Well, good thing they couldn't get a television actor to be part of their Justice League movie.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh.
But, so we meet those two bad guys. And we find out that our beautiful, hunky British spy has stolen the book and left. And that's why he arrived at the island. So then...
he crashed.
So then we get the really cringy and unfun scene of him being in a hot spring-ish type thing. Like he's in like some kind of water fountain, it looks like, taking a bath.
Apparently they have glowy water in Amazon
it's
lands,
some healing,
which will never come up again.
Healing water or whatever. I guess. And so he's taking a bath or whatever.
Did he need to heal?
Yeah, remember he
seemed fine.
He got hurt on his arm. He had a little thing on his arm, a little patch. On this arm specifically.
Oh, yeah. It looked like a burlap sack was super glued to his shoulder.
It was.
Because it wasn't coming out of the water or anything?
Yeah, it was just a potato sack that was just glued on.
That was weird.
Yeah, so then Diana walks in while he's completely naked.
They spend about 5 minutes just desperately trying not to say the word penis.
Yeah, and it was a very cringy scene of like she's looking at him and he goes like, "Well, I'm considered above average," and it's like, "Fuck off." And then
and she looks down and says, "What's that?" And she's talking about the watch, but the suggestion is, of course, the one thing that everyone thinks is like right below camera frame because you're looking at the top half of naked Chris Pine.
Yeah. So you're thinking like,
and his hands don't seem like they're covering anything in all of those shots. Like,
he doesn't start covering until till it's a full body. Before then, he's just standing there stark naked at Diana. Just
which is weird because he seems more abashed later about that idea. I don't know.
Yeah, he seems very bashful about sleeping next to her with clothes on, but then seems very, very unbashful about standing naked in front of her.
Yeah, like she starts walking in as he starts getting out of the thing, and like he doesn't reflexively do the first thing that comes to mind, which is to go back in.
Yeah, he just literally stands there.
I guess I'll just continue to climb back out of this. It's like, oh, I didn't see you there.
And then proceeds to talk about his dick. Yeah, and so after that awful scene,
people say that the moral code of America is degrading, but look at World War I, Chris Pine.
Yeah,
shit was pretty fucked back then. Apparently,
he's British. That's the moral degradation of British people, right there. British people suck, not Americans. No Americans were in that movie.
They had to sacrifice their teeth to get class. Does he ever sound British in the entire movie?
No.
That's weird, right?
He sounds American the entire time.
He never even remotely comes across as... Maybe he's not British? Maybe he's just working with the British government?
Pretty certain he's British.
Is he supposed to be British?
I think so.
Because he doesn't even remotely seem
There's
like
a
he's
picture of him
British.
on the wall. They wouldn't post a picture of him on the wall if he was not a British, like, agent. I don't even think you can become a British spy if you're an American. Like, can you even do that?
He does identify himself as a British spy, right?
Yes. He says he's a
lasso
British
scene?
spy.
Yeah, he just sounds like Chris Pine.
I don't think Americans can become MI6. Like, I don't think that's just how that works.
That is weird how he just sounds exactly like Chris Pine for the entire movie.
I don't think he can do a British accent.
Maybe.
And they just had to sacrifice
That's fine. It's probably better to not try.
Accents don't matter in this movie, apparently. So, fucking doesn't matter. So the whole naked scene, she goes and tells him, like, you can't leave, my mom's a bitch. And he's like, well, let's just do it anyways. And
But almost immediately, they're like, well, she said they're suffering, or he said they're suffering, so I'm gonna go break him out and take him out of this place, even though you're soon revealed that apparently if you leave, you can never come back?
Yes. I think it's only Diana. Which is also a ruse, because Diana can go back to the Amazonian place.
That seemed really bullshit, because apparently people can just walk into this place. Like...
And apparently they can leave because the boat left, and so did
if there's a way
Chris.
to keep people out of this place, why isn't it like on by default for everyone who's not Amazonian?
Yeah.
Why can everyone else wander in, but like all the Amazonians might have like a thing where if they leave, they can't come back for some reason?
That sounds like a really shitty religious thing.
It's like being in an apartment that you own, but only you can get locked out, and everyone else can go in your apartment whenever they feel like.
I was thinking it's more like a church where all the followers of the church can go in, like can come in, but they can't leave. But like some other person that's just checking it out can just walk in and leave. Just
wander on in like it's no big deal.
Just like, oh, is this a church? And they're like, I don't want to be here, and just walk away. And the other people are like, no, take me with you.
It's really weird that an entire army comes in and attacks them, and yet afterwards you're told there's some kind of protective thing that'll keep someone out. And I'm like, why? So you can just lose people?
Yeah. So then
I accidentally locked our dog out forever.
So then Diana takes a giant run at a wall and jumps onto it and climbs up by literally punching her fist into the wall
all the way up, which
nobody hears.
And it's a dick move to like your giant tower that's supposed to contain all of the god weapons.
Yeah,
which I think they like and don't want to lose, but you're just punching holes in it.
Also, remember,
she didn't seem to know she could do that.
She didn't.
She's confused by her own ability to do that, which makes me wonder how much of a plan she had to get off that one ledge she caught that apparently broke, even though she's just a person.
She knew she had super jumps.
Yeah.
She just didn't know she had super strength.
But her whole plan was just to catch that one tiny ledge that was attached to nothing and was going to go nowhere.
She could have just...
It was just in the middle of the wall.
Done the quap.
She was going to like fly up from a quick jump. Up. But even that, like, how'd that break? It's just a piece of rock.
Because she has super strength, so she crushed it.
That's not how... What?
Yeah.
What, from squeezing it too hard?
Yeah, she squeezed it.
I was going to say, like, her weight's not going to break it. Rocks are fucking hard.
Hey, you don't know. Wonder Woman might weigh a couple hundred pounds. Maybe she's a bulky woman.
Does anyone ever pick her up in this movie?
Yeah.
Besides Hades.
No. Who the fuck else is going to pick her up?
I mean, she's in a car
an
at some
Amazonian.
point, I think, and I don't think it leans.
She was taller than almost everybody else.
No, I was just trying to think of like if her weight's ever confirmed, but I think she's in a car at one point. It doesn't lean or anything.
I mean, she doesn't weigh like 1,000 pounds.
She doesn't Wreck-It Ralph it.
Well, no. I mean, I didn't say she weighed like,
She broke a rock by hanging off it. It's a worthy question.
I said she crushed it.
Yeah.
So, goddamn. So
Listen, the important thing is we need to get way too into every individual scene and then also talk about other things for no reason.
Damn it. Okay.
For like 10 minutes.
So she climbs a fucking tower. She goes up there. There's a bunch of god weapons. She starts taking them. She also somehow finds her uniform that someone just happened to leave in that building. Because she gets her Wonder Woman getup from that building.
Yeah.
Which I guess is...
Almost like off camera, she just has her Wonder Woman getup.
And she also has a cloak that I don't know where she got the cloak from. She comes back into the hot springs.
She has all of her chosen items, which are basically just the lasso, the
shield and
the sword. Which is apparently just a sword.
Just a sword.
And
which is a long con, by the way.
Yeah, it's a long con.
The mom like set up a sword like holding station just to go like, Diana, this is the god-killing weapon. You're not the god-killing weapon.
Just like this, like they just never told her Santa Claus wasn't real for like 20 years.
Like just forever. And no one, and she even put guards posted in front of that sword just so that way those like she would make the illusion real. Because that sword is meaningless. Also, who's gonna steal that sword? Because there's literally only Amazonian women on that island.
Yep.
Also, what the fuck? Like, where?
So they're breaking out. They're leaving. They're about to go on a boat.
Yep.
And Matt, of course, this is when her family and everyone all show up at once to be like, "Don't go. I know I can't." So they have to have a farewell scene, even though they're supposed to be sneaking out. So then that defeats the purpose of ever sneaking out in the first place. You fucked up that building for no reason. But
at least they didn't do the generic thing where she just tries to leave and her mom shows up and she's like, take these with you. You'll need them.
They give her House of Cards tiara because she's dead. And she gets to have... Apparently that's the big Wonder Woman tiara, is just the one that their previous warrior had, I guess. And that's not even like a family thing. Oh, I guess that is family, you're right.
Yeah. It's a symbol of the strongest warrior.
And multiple weird things happen here. They say that if you leave, you can never come back, which is like... Okay,
whatever.
How's the security system work? Because Chris Pine's being here in the first place shows you that you don't have any fucking security.
Yeah.
They then let her leave with the God Killer, thinking it's the God Killer, which just seems like if you want to keep your daughter safe, maybe don't lie to her about her own weapon being super powerful when it's just some sword.
Yeah.
And she continues to refuse to tell her that she is straight up a god. So and she keeps saying stuff like throughout the whole movie, she's all like, the faster she gets stronger, the sooner he'll find her, and if she knows who she is, then the sooner he'll find her. And I'm like, her goal is to find him.
Yeah,
her whole goal is you should prepare her for that. It's not like she's gonna have like a training montage between now and then that she's gonna suddenly be more badass. You're just intentionally letting your daughter you supposedly care about go into the world with several facts withheld from her and other things straight up lied about to her.
You also went in with the original intention to just fuck over yourself and all of existence.
It's like she's getting punked by her mom.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's weird. So they get on the boat and they start sailing away to what I assume is London. Is where they're going.
They just arrive, they go to sleep, and then they wake up in London.
Yeah, so we have that awkward scene where she just lays down. She's like, "You're gonna go to sleep," and he's like,
"Yeah." And this is the exact moment I start liking this movie.
This is the exact moment I started really hating this movie.
Because the moment we got to the boat scene, I'm like, "Oh, look, Chris Pine and this main character there's a funny scene happening."
Chris Pine's great. We're
starting Fish Out of Water Wonder Woman, which is probably I think is the strongest element of the movie.
That's the part I hate the most.
I know it is.
Everything
I knew it would be
because it's not even smart fish out of water. It's the dumb fish out of water.
It's not great.
It's just do men sleep? No, bitch. Nobody sleeps outside of your stupid island. Of course we do. What the fuck? It's not even fish out of water. That's just pure ignorance.
Yeah, there's
coming
a lot
from
of
a
it's
woman,
not just cultural differences, but straight up just alien understandings of humanity because she's not from any of it.
But she knows that human males have sex with human women for pleasure and reproduction.
But doesn't know that they sleep.
But doesn't know they fucking sleep. Yeah, good fish out of water story writing, you piece of shit. What kind of question is that? It does feel like
different scenes are written by different people that didn't talk to each other.
God.
So at times I think my own experience of this movie is colored by the fact that I hated the other DC movies so much. I enjoyed the first two Batman movies, and then the Batman Dark Knight Returns was or Dark Knight Rises, or fucking whatever shitty extra word they added to it, was that movie was just so not great, but it was I wasn't mad at that point.
You get the best character ever.
But when I watched Man of Steel and Suicide Squad, they were so bad. Because Man of Steel was a bastardization of the character, but also was just an all-around not good time in any real way, and also just not compelling as a drama or anything like that to justify not being a fun time.
Yeah.
But Suicide Squad was literally just utterly incompetent, which we've talked into at great lengths. So this movie is at times a good time and is not utterly incompetently made, which makes it the best DC movie in a decade.
I kind of only I only 50-50 agree with you on that. I still, yeah.
It hurts, but this is the best DC movie since The Dark Knight, the first one. The second Batman, but the first Dark Knight.
So in any case, the boat scene goes, she wakes up after 12 hours, assumingly.
Maybe
because I don't even know,
or a week. I don't know.
They said they were on a boat, and they were it's going to take us a while to get from where
they wake up in London.
Yeah, they just wake up. She just wakes up in London, and he's already awake.
Welcome to London. It's hideous. Yeah, it's not for everyone. Because it's like a nightmare gray place covered in smoke and shit.
It's funny because her island's beautiful and, and industrialization
and everything
sucks.
in real life literally never looks beautiful.
Yeah, get it?
Nothing in real life in this movie ever looks beautiful ever.
Isn't it funny? I laughed so hard.
It's funny because it's human misery.
Internally.
Hooray, World War I.
So then we get the scene of her and him walking through London downtown. And she's still wearing her like fur cloak, which apparently is not acceptable to wear, because she has her Wonder Woman get up underneath it.
Yeah,
but it's not like the cloak covers her. It's like a literal cloak, so no one can.
There was a weird thing going on with the cloak where it kept going. In some scenes, it's closed and it's covering everything.
Yeah.
And in other scenes, it's open, and you can tell that she's like wearing like a metal skirt and like nothing else.
Yeah.
And it keeps opening and closing without anyone touching it.
Yeah.
And like, but it's clearly like fastened closed and then not closed at all in like different shots, basically.
Basically, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, if she just closes it, there's no need for it to ever.
There was no need for this entire weird, awkward, dumb scene of her.
Yeah, where she apparently tries on 200 different costumes.
200 different clothes, yeah, because I'm sure Wonder Woman has a patience for that.
Many of which she rips, apparently. And I don't know who's paying for that.
I guess him.
Because, like, it's never established that they're rich or anything, and these seem like expensive clothes that she's just burning through. And all this build-up just for her to look like Chris Pine.
It's all
she just dresses up like Chris Pine.
Basically, all this build-up so she wears, like, a business attire. That's just what they settle on. They just settle on her wearing business attire.
They somehow didn't think of that sooner in the 200 costumes that she tried on. Like, maybe we should do something less womanly, since apparently she's not into that.
And again, because it's a fish out of water situation, they were like, look at all these different clothes you could wear, like a dress.
No one
and she's
thinks
like,
to suggest maybe we'll just put her in like something that is like, lets her move.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's what she wants, because she keeps expressing that literally every time.
And the first thing she does every time she puts clothes on is move her legs. So maybe not give her any kind of skirt-related item. But no,
so at this point, what's confusing to me is I thought we were establishing the side character that's going to be like a sidekick throughout the movie.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, okay, she's going to be like our comic relief character, and like she was fine at times. Like I got a kick out of her.
I'm not really.
It's like how do you like? They're talking about the costumes. Like how do you fight in this? Well, we use our wit, and I'm not against a little fisticuff when the time arises. And like there's little like. She's just like, instead of balking constantly at Wonder Woman's weirdness, she keeps just like
playing off of it.
She just like bounces back off of everything, which was like oddly charming.
Which was nice. I like that.
And then she's gone.
Yeah, then she's just gone.
She's gone like a scene later. Like halfway through the movie, she'll answer a phone call once. I'm like, wait, you weren't setting up a character we're going to see for the rest of the movie?
Yeah.
What the fuck's up with that?
They like specifically establish it too. Like this is his secretary. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I guess we're going to have to deal with her a lot because she has to be there and be a secretary. But then like
this is part of a symptom of like what the entire first half of the movie is. Which is the first half of the movie is a combination of Wonder Woman origin story, which drags the movie out for way too long, but also a very prolonged sequence of assembling the team, where we keep getting new characters that seem like they're going to be part of the team, but then they're not.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when we finally do meet the team, they're just all in one room together, and like, this is our team now. Like, I already knew about them all.
Yeah.
We'll give them all one-line description, and then move on for the rest of the movie, with them being the team, most of which will never do anything in the movie.
Yeah, literally
like the team feels like the Suicide Squad, partly because there's a moment where, and I don't mean like the
does it? I almost felt like it was Rogue One.
I don't mean the concept of Suicide Squad. I mean specifically Suicide Squad, the movie, where half the characters are like, "We're in the squad," and then the movie ends. You're like, "What'd that guy do in the movie?" Yeah, because like there's a guy who's the sniper.
Yeah,
and what does he do? He snipes, but then doesn't.
He scopes.
Does he ever pull the trigger a single time in the entire movie?
He shoots nobody,
and he never scouts really. So he just
he does. He's always scouting. He's always looking through the fucking...
There's like one major part where he's like, I see the guards out front. Which is like, yeah, the castle has guards. Congratulations.
Well, no, first he does, like, he's looking at the sniper, but he won't pull the trigger. Then the next time you see him, he's looking at the guards. Then he starts following the other guy, the main bad guy.
Yeah.
And then we see him again doing... when they're running to the place, he, like, has the scope out looking around at people. So he just scopes.
Thinking that mostly... all those characters didn't need to exist, besides just to pad the movie out more.
Just the Indian guy.
Not even him. He, like, what does he do eventually? He gets a car once?
Well,
they can just find a car.
Well, he made sense in terms of, like, how they were getting to the destination, but he should have been left behind after the first, like, big action scene.
And he was also in addition to a team that had, like, 2 or 3 other people on it that also don't really contribute to the story.
Yeah, none of them contribute to
the
story.
They're just there.
I mean, like I said, the Indian guy made sense just because he's like, I'm going to smuggle you into the town you want to get to. Okay, I believe that.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that's a thing. But, like, once they
might as well have disappeared at that point.
Yeah, he might have disappeared when she ran off into the field, into no man's land.
Mm-hmm.
He should have just faded out, and it would have been A-okay. No one would have batted an eye. It would have been weird. But, anyways, so we do the whole scene with her getting clothes. She finally gets business attire. They start walking to deliver this book that he has that has the plans for mustard gas.
The gas.
And they get jumped by Germans. And so Wonder Woman just starts reflecting bullets off of her wrists.
Yeah.
Like a super being, because she can just see in every direction again all of a sudden.
You can perfectly calculate the trajectory of every single projectile around her.
Yes.
Except when it comes to her undying.
Yeah. And so then she defeats all of them, tries to lasso the truth of one of them, and he just takes a cyanide pill, but doesn't do it to the guy that's sitting literally behind them that Chris knocked out.
Yeah.
Which it didn't take a suicide pill.
We see one person take a suicide pill, but several other characters aren't knocked out, have not taken suicide pills, and she makes no real effort to interrogate any of them.
Yes.
Including, because he clearly, that one guy gets knocked out because he keeps shooting and she keeps deflecting the shots, then Chris Pine just knocks him the fuck out, and then we never see him again.
Yep.
Though
they just leave. They leave that alleyway.
They only try to interrogate the one person who died of a suicide pill and no one else.
Yeah. It's also weird that they just left those bodies there.
So this is a reoccurring thing in fight scenes and a lot of scenes in general, is that details just get forgotten about a moment later.
Yeah.
And it never comes up again. And it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
It is weird.
So then they go to I'm assuming, like, the room for generals and whatever, and they're all discussing, like, a war room, and they're all discussing about, like, this peace treaty they're going to make with the Germans. And so Chris goes in and he's like, stay the fuck here, you stupid dog. I'll be right back. And he leaves.
I wonder, by the way, do you think World War I era that people were anywhere nearly as anti-woman as this movie portrays? Because it starts to get weird at some point.
It got really weird.
It's one thing to be like, women don't work jobs and women don't vote, but literally like, how dare you bring a woman into the room? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's like, I wasn't fucking there. I don't know. It's 100 years ago, practically. But
I think it was more.
It seems not entirely realistic to be that.
Well, it seems
freaked out.
It seems less so because, like, Chris has a female secretary.
It's straight up.
What if it?
It's just a thing where it feels like I'm watching Django Unchained, and like the way people react to like when a black person walks into the wrong setting and that specific.
Why is the black
like,
people here?
Literally a movie about slavery.
Yeah,
but like women literally like freaking out that they're even in the room. Like, and then not only just once, but like I think like 4 times in one scene, everyone's like, "Oh my god, there's a woman! I'm so distracted, I can't even."
Yeah, like a whole room of men were just like, "We cannot speak right now." They all start fucking
inflating like strawberries, and I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, they were just kind of like all enamored by this
women.
Woman.
They're out the window over there too. They're everywhere.
They're nowhere. There's no women. Nothing Britain.
Like, I feel like I don't know. I wasn't there at the time. I don't fucking know, but I just feel like if people were that aggressively anti-woman all the time, it would make it a lot harder to. Because like I feel like a certain part of like the repression that happened over time would have come from some level of acceptance. Yeah, and would have likely come from like it kind of feeling like a decent gig. The whole like different like hierarchy that they have, like thinking that just you would need the women to just sort of accept their place in that kind of society. Yeah. So if you're actively, aggressively being shitty towards them constantly, it seems like that would kind of hinder that whole process. I don't know. I think it was just because it's a war meeting, like a war room. I think that was the whole gimmick, is that like women shouldn't be in a place where men are discussing war. I think that was the whole crux of it. As if it's still sending the same message, which is like, those damn women, they can't vote, they shouldn't be here during a war thing. But which kind of gets to the same issue as the island at the beginning, which is that the settings that you encounter are pretty much exclusively the war settings. Yeah. So also like London doesn't feel like a real place either. Yeah, London feels like a place where everyone talks about war and then that's happening somewhere else, and then you get there via the jump cut.
That's how London really is.
Yeah, it's just a jump cut away from war. Yeah.
That's all of Britain's history.
Don't know what I just said.
But so then she comes in, distracts them. Chris eventually hands the book off to this really finely mustachio man with a cane.
They made this big point to bring the poison recipe here so that no one could do anything about it.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah, so basically the guy with the mustache goes like, oh, that's really great. I'm glad you brought this document. And then is like, but you can't do anything with it. And he's like, okay, well, I'm glad thanks. And
but
so
fine, we're going to go make a Rogue One team to go take it out now.
Yeah, and so then they leave. They go to the bar, and he's like, I'm going to introduce you to some people. And
this is the team.
Yeah, this is the team. So one of them
is the shooty pew pew guy. He's Smuggle Man, and he's Sniper Man. That's it.
Well, one guy's not a smuggle guy. Remember, the only people in that room were...
You're right, the smuggling guy's later.
Yeah.
He doesn't get introduced, he just shows up.
Yeah, he just shows up. Or no, they show up to him.
Yeah.
But there's it's just the smooth talker, so basically the con artist and the sniper.
Yeah.
And so the con artist, they have this stupid fucking dumb little back and forth of like, what languages can you speak? And she's like, would you speak Greek? And he's like, nobody speaks Greek. Fuck Greek. And then it's
they're
like...
just sort of testing each other, and almost immediately it's like, she immediately outclasses him at that, and you can't help but wonder, like, so what's he going to accomplish? Like, what does he...
Yeah, what does this accomplish?
What can he do, huh?
Yeah.
What can he do that she can't do, I wonder?
Which apparently is act like an Arabic guy in a car.
Yeah, the main thing is that
he
pretends to be a driver once. That's like, oh my god, I lost the papers. What am I gonna do?
That's his only thing.
That's the only thing he does in the whole movie.
Only thing he does in the whole movie.
Everyone does like one thing in the movie at best.
He helps out with shooting.
Yeah,
but
which every scene they're shooting is baffling because I'm like, Wonder Woman's wiping out the entire army single-handedly, and sometimes Chris Pine's like, I got that guy.
Yeah.
And like the guy he got's not even on camera half the time.
Yeah.
There's like a suggestion. Chris Pine manages to shoot like this. Like I'm running this way, and I'm like, pew, I got that guy.
Yeah, I was gonna mention
everyone
that.
else just sucks.
Did you see how fucking like botched his like jumping all the way back to the island scene when he was going to save
on the beach where he just shoots people at weird random angles without looking?
He was running at the guy who tried shooting Diana.
Yeah,
and then he just does this like quick. He's holding a fucking bolt action rifle. By the way, it's not like a fucking pistol. He has a bolt action rifle and just goes like no scope, shoots a guy, and then fucking
without looking
shoots a guy. And it's the weirdest angle too, because he goes like this and it still shoots a guy that's like standing straight and far away from him. So he like cocks it a little up, shoots it, and
this movie seems to want to communicate the idea that Germans are really bad at war in World War I.
Germans are just
they
stormtroopers.
Really suck in this movie.
That's all they are. They're just stormtroopers.
Aside from the beginning of the movie where House of Cards dies, when does anyone else get killed by a German soldier?
Never.
Yeah, never. Really.
Never.
Like, eventually that entire town gets wiped out by a bomb.
The entire town by gas.
Like, that's gas warfare. It's like, But
bullet-wise, no. Nobody else. I'm sorry, one person did. A civilian did.
Yeah, one guy got sniped.
Yeah, one guy got sniped.
When they had to establish a sniper, some faceless character we haven't seen before gets sniped, which also wasn't even a soldier.
No,
so the Germans are so bad in this movie, they have to shoot a civilian to get a kill. To the point where Diana is single-handedly storming no man's land at one point, and like she has this tiny shield, which apparently is impervious to bullets, and I assume it's needed to block the bullets on some level because she's using it. So she's holding it in front of her at normal height, like Captain America does. But unlike what's usually happening with Captain America, where like he'll like walk into a room and block a couple of bullets and then shit goes down, usually.
Yeah.
Like it feels like stray bullets usually. She has like machine gun fire focused on her from like
three different
machine guns. Just a triangle of sparks coming straight at her on the screen. And only her shield. All these Germans have perfect aim at exactly the one place
they were
that's not
shooting the
going
ground
to kill somebody.
Too. And then she started ducking. But so then she just ducks, and now they can't
never get her legs though when they're fully exposed.
They do hit her legs, but her legs have armor on them that are bulletproof, so it just bounces off.
So she doesn't need shields.
Well, she does because she has like exposed thighs, exposed arms.
Sounds like she should wear more armor.
Yeah, do you think? I mean, I'm sure there's some people who complain about that. It's too skimpy, but like, I mean, how expensive is that fucking bulletproof armor? Because they don't even know about bullets.
Weirdly, when she charges forward, only her squad of people comes with her.
Yeah, only the four guys.
They're like, we're gonna take them out, and they take out the Germans.
They take out like four people, but then the rest of everybody else comes running too.
But like none of those people get shot. No one thinks like, look at those guys.
Because she like does a jump. She like does a Superman jump.
There's like an entire battle front. It's called a front for a reason.
Yeah,
it's trenches.
It's whole trenches.
Literally, no one cares to shoot anyone besides her.
Yes,
I guess.
And no one tried to flank her either.
No.
Like she was suppressed by fire, literally under machine gun suppressive fire, and no one got up and tried to like casually get around her.
It's kind of hard to flank her because they're in trenches and no one wants to go into no man's land. But it was bizarre watching everyone fail to kill her.
Yeah.
But also focus fire on her when clearly other people are around that have guns and stuff.
Except for what's his face? Her 4 other friends just ran casually out there, and nobody else shot them.
Which is why it's weird that when they're like, they essentially may have looked directly at the camera and shouted like, "She's got aggro." It's like, DPS, go in. Because like it feels like shitty video game AI as opposed to what people are doing. The way that they just literally don't notice anyone coming at them across an open field besides the one person that doesn't have a gun.
Yeah.
I guess she's wearing some shiny shit, but come on, like...
It is a shiny shield.
She's not even attacking you yet, and the other people are shooting at you. Yeah,
so then from there it gets to the... she basically storms that area, beats the shit out of every German in the area, goes to, like... charges at a fucking machine gun vehicle, like an armored machine gun car, charges at it like a fucking bullet, and just breaks it, just throws the damn thing to the side.
Which is how we start getting into the trouble with this whole movie's...
CGI?
Not even the CGI, but just like its action scenes are completely devoid of tension.
Yes.
Because Wonder Woman can just take out an entire...
armada
town.
Yeah.
Like everything that happens, she can just pick up you will see her pick up a whole fucking tank at one point and be like, should I crush this person with it or not? I don't know. Let's contemplate it and just hold on to it for 5 minutes because it apparently takes no effort. And like she gets pummeled through things and blown up and all these different things happen and it never seems to even slightly hurt her.
It doesn't even like cut her.
She never gets I feel like the movie ends and she still doesn't have a single even slight mark on her.
Nope, she had no bruises, no scratches, no nothing.
Even when she's fighting like Hell Demon, basically, like
even when she's fighting another god, she is perfectly good.
It's so boring.
Yes,
how there's no stake at all.
Very boring.
Like there's nothing at stake in all of her fight scenes.
And so even the very like they you brought the fucking sniper with you. And so there's another sniper, and you expect him to do, because he's been being an asshole this entire movie.
Yeah, it's like, we're gonna make up for it because he's such a good sniper.
Yeah, he's such a good
sniper.
He never fucking snipes. He can't even counter snipe. He like freaks out, doesn't want to pull the trigger.
It's like Suicide Squad, where they're like, well, this Captain Boomerang's an asshole, but like he's really good with the boomerang, I guess. So like we're gonna have it's all waiting for the big boomerang scenes to happen, and like no boomerang scenes happen.
Yeah. And so
you just forget he has boomerangs.
And then they end up doing this stupid callback bullshit to like S.H.I.E.L.D., where they all like take one of the armored vehicles doors, and Wonder Woman jumps off of it, and then literally just plows through the top of a building. Like she just bullets through brick and like stone.
She apparently had so much thrust that she could destroy an entire clock tower.
Church
or bell tower. It was a bell tower specifically.
A bell tower in a church. Yeah,
she had that much power. She could go through a stone tower, but still didn't crush Chris Pine and everyone else under that thing.
Yeah,
like she springboarded off of them so hard to destroy a building, but they're all fine.
Yeah, they basically just kind of like brushed it off like it didn't weigh anything.
And like at the end of the movie, we see her do see her do a super jump out of a building where she seems to launch like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet out in some direction, like actually she's flying. Why does she need a springboard?
Because she didn't know that was before she unlocked her god powers.
It's just weird because Chris Pine.
Now that she's unlocked, she can just do everything.
She's unleashed. It just feels weird because Chris Pine, first of all, only knows this move because House of Cards did it in that one fight.
Yeah.
But House of Cards doesn't have superpowers.
No.
So, like, she needed a springboard. We see Wonder Woman do super jumps in that scene.
She's been doing super jumps before that scene.
Like, you have no reason to think that she needs a shield other than because it's, like, a callback.
Yeah, it's just a callback.
Because, like, this movie has a lot of little moments where they set something up once, then bring it back, even if they don't need to. Like,
yeah.
Like, there's a clock in this movie that exists. The watch exists for no reason other than to be like, oh, I'm dying now.
Yeah, just to hand it off.
To reveal later, like, that Chris Pine's killing himself. Like, there's a lot of things like that where, like, we set it up once and it comes up later, but why include it?
Dumb. But, so then after they after they save the town from German invasion, they all kind of, like, wind down. She gets handed a beer and just doesn't drink it, which is super fucking rude and disrespectful. She got to watch her figure, I guess.
They don't have beer in Amazonia?
Yeah, they do.
Mystalia?
They
Mystalia?
especially do. But yeah, she just like gets handed a beer and just goes like, cool. And just puts it down. Just immediately just drops it on the
I think I saw a comic where Wonder Woman was like in Vietnam or something and found like an entire village of tortured women, and she was like making a resistance army out of them, and I'm pretty sure they were all drinking.
Yeah, they were. Wonder Woman drinks. It's not like a...
Yeah.
You know what it probably was? It's probably because the actress doesn't drink.
So pretend or make fake beer.
That's where you don't hire people with weird religious values.
Yeah, that reminds me of like how Jim Carrey has to be like a gimmick character when he's in a Kick-Ass movie because he refuses to shoot guns.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. He'll never shoot a gun in a
Same
movie,
with-
so that
yeah.
he has to be really specific roles.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's fine if you want to do that, but like, don't apply for a role if you're not going to be able to do the role properly. Like if in the, like she had to have had a script, and the script said like at one point one woman gets handed a beer, and she just like said, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna drink beer." It's like, yo, then don't fucking apply. Like, get out of here then.
Or just don't show that part, I guess.
Or just don't show. Yeah, I don't even know why the drinks had to be given.
I don't remember the scene.
Because here's the thing: even Chris only takes like a couple sips, and then he sets it down immediately, and they just go dancing.
Yeah.
So there's no point for the beer. It's just there to be because like the Germans have beer, and we took their beer. Like, there's no fucking point. And so they start doing all these dancing things, and it's trying to get super sensual and sexual so that you can get ready for the sex scene that's gonna that they don't show, but is gonna happen. So then, yeah, they do this whole setup about the fucking sniper guy who is useless and can sing, whatever. And then Wonder Woman and Chris go and have sex. I guess I'm assuming. I don't even know because they didn't even insinuate anything. No one talked about it.
I don't know if I remember any indication of that happening. I don't really remember.
They made out. In a bedroom.
I think I just mostly just forgot that scene.
They made out. He specifically closed the door, locked it. Then they made out, and then cuts the next morning. And I was like, so we just kissed a lot and then passed out and then woke up 6 hours later? No, we fucked. Like, why would you even include that scene? Why is that even
I mostly just remember the scene where she's like, is this what people do when they're not at war? And it's revealed that Chris basically has no idea what normal life actually really works like.
Yeah.
Because he's just been at war.
Yeah, he's just been at war his entire life.
He's presumably, as a soldier at that age, he's probably not experienced normal adult life.
Well, no,
he's been at war for years.
If he was under the age of like 30, then he was basically drafted at 18 or 17. At 17, he was drafted to the war. Because during the Great War, 17 and over were immediately drafted, and then therefore, while the war continued on, everyone who was...
Hooray for mandatory soldiering in a war that no one really can even fully understand why it's happening.
This is why you don't start world wars, because you run out of people eventually.
It is so hard to comprehend.
War?
Specifically,
war never changes.
Well, like World War I more than any other one is so hard to understand.
Well, it's just a fucking
how it fucking happened.
A guy got shot in the ass.
It's so hard to process.
That's all that happened.
Not even get shot. Like he failed to get assassinated, and then the guy tried again later and got him.
No,
in the same day.
No, he drove down the street where the guy was buying a deli sandwich, and the guy went, "My chance again," and shot him and killed him that time.
And that guy ended up kind of killing millions of people.
No, that guy single-handedly started a world war.
Hoo boy. Is that one of the worst people ever, I guess?
No.
Like, not, like, there are people who have had worse intentions, but he in actual act, like, he's, like top 10 as far as, like, negative impact on world from actions.
No, he's the least bad person. The real bad people are the Austrians that got attacked. They're the bad guys.
So far off topic.
They're the bad guys because they took so fucking long to fight to start a war that now it became a world war, and it wasn't supposed to be. It would have just been a simple war between them and the stupid Ottomans, and they would have just fought each other out, and nobody would have cared. It would have been.
So I have to recap this.
Yeah.
So when Joe was here earlier, and he was going to be in the Spoilercast, but he was running out of time, and Andrew took a while to set up, and then he was like, I gotta go, and just left.
Why did you just blame me?
Yeah, it's kind of your fault.
Thanks.
He was going to be here for half an hour. You spoiled it. Spoiled cast. He said he gave this movie three dead Ottomans out of 10, and I was really confused because I had to process for a while that he was talking about the Ottoman Empire and not like an Ottoman, like what you're sitting on.
Like what I'm sitting on, exactly. Yeah.
And I was like, wait, why are we measuring this movie out of furniture? And why is it
3 reclining chairs out of 5?
And why is it this furniture given like humanity, like it was like
alive or dead,
like a character from Beauty and the Beast, but also is now dead?
But
where do Beauty and the Beast characters go after they die?
They become human again.
Suddenly, over where the candelabra used to be, there's just a human corpse. You just discover it one day.
Who wrote Beauty and the Beast? Can I ask them that?
No.
Are they still?
They're very dead.
Damn it.
Beauty and the Beast is one of those old things that got adapted by...
Shit.
That got adapted by Disney.
I can't even ask Walt Disney, because he's also dead.
No.
Like, the original author's dead,
but also
and
Disney,
Walt's dead.
It's Disney adapt. All they used to do, whenever all of their 2D stuff
it's just taken from old
was
works.
all adaptations, yeah.
Any case, so they wake up the next morning after nice, sexy, fun times, and they decide that they're gonna go straight to the guy that we assume is Ares, the god of war, and we're going to go straight and beeline to him. But Chris says, no, you can't just assassinate a big old fancy man like that. And Diana goes, why not? I can do whatever I want. And she's right, because she's technically not a citizen anywhere, so she can't really be held accountable.
Yep.
But
she sure lets herself get restrained and stopped a lot when she could just go do it.
Just jump.
Yeah. Oh no, he's gone now, I guess. What? It's like, why did you stop me? I'm like, why'd you give up immediately?
Yeah, actually, you could have picked like,
you
Chris
pushed
up.
him away, but then I guess you lost him or something, even though you're Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And he's a person that's just walking around in a crowd that doesn't even know he's trying to get away from you yet.
Yeah. So
sure.
In any case, so they make a trip to where this big bad guy is staying at. And they get a car, they do the stupid scene where fucking con artist pretends to be Indian or Arabic, doesn't know where his papers are, and Chris pretends to be German with a really shitty German accent.
I think he's trying to be a Sikh.
Yeah. Yes, he is trying to be a Sikh.
Yeah. And yeah, he supposedly lost the papers for the invite, which a lot of the context for this invite's kind of lost over time. Like, there's weird setup and payoff stuff that doesn't quite go out.
Yes.
Where, like, when they're going in, they're setting up tons of chairs on a balcony facing out.
Yeah.
And, like, presumably,
watch.
For me, I'm like, oh, they're going to watch the chemical test.
Yeah.
But you never see, like, an audience there, ever.
Well, you never see anybody fill those chairs, no.
Yeah, like, there's a weird, like, oh, that's gonna come up later, and it just doesn't.
I think it was more about the horror of it all, like, showing, like, these people find it entertaining to watch, like, hundreds of people die by gas.
Yeah.
I think that's the point. They're just saying, like, Germans are bad people. Stop liking them.
It seems like they really want to paint them as being, like, literally evil, because they have, like, super villain chemical monster makers, and they're literally in the process of signing the armistice to end the war. But it won't happen anymore
because Ares killed those guys. But I guess they're all high command people that they don't report to, because no one was like, oh my god, they're all dead.
Yeah, there is a weird scene where Ares, the supposed Ares character, and that was a Doctor Who, and Dr. Poison throw a poison thing into a room full of high level officials and kill them all, and that never comes up again.
Yeah, no one says anything.
I guess the implication is supposed to be that he's taking control of the whole thing so that he can then go and fly off the murder plane into a place.
Yeah, but at the same time,
he wasn't supposed to be in control of that place, I guess.
Like, London never got a call about, like, hey, by the way, this guy's taking over the peace treaty now, because all the other guys are just dead. Like, you have to let somebody know that.
Which we should point out, like, the real Ares is somebody who literally is in the office with the person.
He's the one starting the peace treaty. Yeah,
and he's the person that's there with the secretary character that's supposed to be controlling this mission.
Yeah.
The comic relief character they established at the beginning of the movie that they mostly forget about.
Yep.
And despite the fact that Wonder Woman's working seemingly against his interests, he never interferes with this plan in any way.
Well, because he said he wanted to make her come to hate humans by letting her experience it. Because he even said, he was like, I was going to stop you when I first met you, but then I felt like
this whole movie was like a weird attempt to, like, come to the dark side.
Yeah, it was like some weird...
She just wants her to be corrupted by World War I guess.
Yeah. As if, like, somehow Wonder Woman's, like, 2-week adventure into World War I was going to really fucking skew her mind. Not even in 2 weeks, like, what? Like, fucking less than a week of her existence.
So Ares is an idiot.
Yeah.
Because the problem here is that she starts being all is lost and humanity's just doomed and evil, she starts breaking when she kills the person she thinks is Ares, and then nothing changes.
Yeah.
That's the disillusion moment. And instead of having her change to the dark side, Ares immediately reveals himself as being a real person.
Yes.
Like, in that scene.
Yeah.
Like, the moment, like, nothing changed. What happened? And then it's like, this is all my plan to make you not believe in humans. And I'm like, well, you just revealed yourself, which means that she was right, that you're controlling them this whole time, which means she just has to kill you, which means that she has a thing to focus on, which completely undoes everything you were just talking about. What the fuck are you up to?
Also, I just want to point out, I don't know why the fuck they decided it, but they kept that fucking stupid mustache on him when he gets like struck down by Zeus, when Hades gets struck by Zeus in the past and falls to the ground and like becomes like stuck as a man. Did they just copy Diablo, basically? The whole like Tyrael falling down from the heavens and turning into a mortal kind of thing, where he like and he
I feel like Diablo probably is copying actual mythology.
Well, you know what I mean, though. The movie took that.
I feel like Diablo's not coming up with this shit.
Whatever. Either way, somebody created. They just took that logic of like him falling from the heavens and becoming a person.
Yeah, there is a flashback of him being banished, and he shows up with no armor on the ground, like in a crater,
with a fucking caterpillar mustache, and he looks so fucking dumb.
He already has this British mustache, and he seems to have his head plastered on like a muscle body that's not his. I don't think.
Yeah, he doesn't even have his original body anymore. He has some like super huge buff like Captain America body.
Isn't Hades played by the same guy that plays Lupin in the Harry Potter movies?
Yes,
like he's.
Yeah. That's
relatively recognizable actor. He's also known. He's known as being a professor in Harry Potter, and he was like primary character in one of like the Star Trek movies, I think, and stuff like that. Like he gets around a little bit.
Yeah.
And none of them are as being like a muscle-bound warrior character.
He's never had muscles in his life.
So it's definitely a little peculiar that he looks like this weird, silly British man that goes into super armor.
It's a weird CGI like muscle suit that they put on him.
You almost like want to find out that it's like a disguise. But no, he just looks like that.
He just looks like
even
that.
In his armor.
Yeah,
it's really strange.
It's really strange. That was the part I almost busted out laughing from in the theater, because I like as soon as like, okay, cool, they're showing him fall down, and then I see like out of corner of his little armor, caterpillar mustache. I was like, fuck off! You cannot tell me that Ares, the god of war, had this fucking killer caterpillar mustache growing under his helmet for like 400 years. Like, are you fucking kidding me? He's a Greek god. They wouldn't have stupid caterpillar mustaches. They would have like beards and like
I like the idea of him turning out to be Ares.
Yeah,
but him also looking like that when he's Ares. Yeah, is like a little like you really expect it to be a disguise.
Yeah. I thought it was a disguise.
Yeah, like, oh, that guy's Ares. Now he's going to turn into, like, I don't know, Khal Drogo.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to do the reveal, like, when she stabbed him with the sword and he just burnt it.
Well, he can't turn into Khal Drogo because he's Aquaman.
Well, yeah. But, like, I was expecting when she stabbed him with the sword, like, to stab him and he just burns it up, I was expecting him to just, like, grab her thing and just start, like, shifting into this big, muscle-bound, like, guy.
No, he stays Lupin the entire movie. He stays
fucking skinny little guy, and he's just like, no, this is my caterpillar mustache forever. And it's like, why?
And the moment... So despite my issues I've been saying, this is one of those movies like I said with the previous example of Prometheus, where in the moment I'm mostly enjoying a lot of it while it's going, but the moment I finish watching it, there's so many questions raised, which it's like that boat and stuff like that, where I'm like, oh shit, what was going on with that? Like, I was mostly enjoying this movie pretty much the moment she became an adult, all the way up until right this moment. The moment she kills the person they think is Hades is the moment the movie completely goes to shit.
Yeah.
And it's still got it's got to be 20 minutes left.
It still has like another 20 minutes.
This is the moment where it feels like the movie is taking forever. And so little story happens.
Nothing happens except
Here's what
Chris
happens
dying.
from here on out, which is that, Chris is going to go sacrifice himself to get rid of the gas, and she's going to beat Hades, and then it's over.
That's it.
But it takes so long. And we have this really drawn out, awkward fight scene where they're just hitting each other across an open area over and over again.
And neither of them are taking damage.
Yeah, no one takes damage because they're all gods until the moment where she does the actual, like, I'm awakened and I'm super god and I kill you.
That was another scene I almost burst out laughing.
That was hard to look at.
That looked fucking stupid. Because what happens is
they're just fighting forever, and Chris Pine sacrifices himself to destroy the gas by hijacking the plane and flying off and then shooting backwards and hoping it blows up. And she
does like a flashback. She
screams her name and then explodes outward.
No, she does a flashback. Mode. She screams crying, and then she does a flashback because previously she got exploded and she couldn't hear anything. And Chris walked up and was like, all you could hear as the audience member was like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then he just runs off. And so then it does a flashback to explain where he just goes...
reveals the sacrifice scene.
Yeah, reveals the sacrifice scene. He says, I love you, runs off.
But comically, she explodes in this scene where the entire screen, it's just covered in orange now, and you only see her from the waist up now.
Yeah.
And for the rest of this fight
And it just goes slow-mo, too.
There's just
she bursts out, and it's like slow-mo.
Yeah, and for like the rest of the scene, there's like no setting anymore. It's just a vague orange mist in every direction, everywhere. Yeah. And it makes everything look really... It looks like an unrendered video game.
It almost looks like the Hulk comic book movie.
Which comic book movie?
Just Hulk.
Oh, Hulk.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of that scene when she just bursts out like that, and it was like it's slow mode down for her to do. Like
it's weird.
It exploded really quickly.
At this point, all the worst lines of dialogue are happening where, like, the villain is literally just saying, like, I will destroy you, while in slow motion he's flinging lightning or something.
With the worst CGI lightning I've ever seen. It's, like, glowing bright. You can barely tell what it is. It's, like, this weird, you can tell it's, like, he doesn't even know what the lightning looks like.
And they add another stupid line to the dialogue of the canon that is stupid lines that people quote too much in DC. Or just in general, really, like, because like the previous one I hated was he's the superhero that Gotham deserves, but not the one they need right now, or something like that. Where like literally, you can look at that line and try to dissect it in a lab, and you can't figure out what the fuck it's supposed to actually mean.
Yeah,
like you've thought about that line, right? Yeah. And how it just like it means nothing.
It means nothing.
It doesn't make any sense. What the fuck do you mean? Like,
no, I mean it literally means nothing. It's just because he's saying
words.
He's saying I'm the hero that Gotham needs, but not right now. So you're nothing.
And here's one of the ones that they do in this movie is they say it's not about what you deserve; it's about what you believe.
Yeah,
and I believe in love, and I'm like,
well, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
With all these people being paid millions of dollars to write this movie, you couldn't come up with anything better than that? Like, as a reoccurring line to say over and over again in this movie is like...
You asking a DC movie to write?
It's like...
That's not how DC works.
This is like her climactic line.
Yeah.
For the movie.
That's her, like, triumphant...
This is her I'm going to kill the bad guy line is like... It's not what people deserve, but what you believe in.
And she does... And she, like... And before this scene, she's, like, holding a tank... Just holding it. Over Dr. Poison. She's just holding it, looking at her. I don't even know why she's going to kill Dr. Poison. I guess because that one time that they poisoned a village. But like,
I think she's supposed to be mad because Chris just died to get rid of her poison. So
okay.
She's like, but really, like,
wait, Wonder Woman didn't know there was poison in that plane.
Like what? Yeah, she has no understanding what's going on in the scene around her, really. So she doesn't really even fully understand why Chris killed himself.
Yeah, she has no idea.
She's been separate from everyone else. Like discovering what's happening.
But she's about to kill this like Dr. Poison person who she has never met. She's never even met Dr. Poison.
Mercilessly crush Dr. Poison under a tank who she's never met. Doesn't really know who she is, doesn't know that the poison was in the plane. Also, Poison just wanders into the scene out of nowhere and then wanders back out the moment she doesn't kill her. Like, it's such a weird contrivance as she just wanders in and out of the mist. And like, why you want to kill Dr. Poison? Why would you be directing your aggression towards anyone besides Ares in this scene? And then, of course, whoa, what a fucking twist. She doesn't kill Dr. Poison with the tank. So many people were just on the edge of their seat. What's Wonder Woman gonna do in this scene?
She does the shittiest CGI, like, okay, she was clearly holding... Yeah, she was clearly...
throws it away?
She was clearly holding, like a styrofoam box, and she just goes, like... I was like, yo, you trying to make a 3-point shot with that tank? Like, what the fuck? I thought she threw it at Ares. The first time she did it, Like, or when she did it originally, I was like, did she?
Why wouldn't she?
Well, yeah, but I was like, did she just throw that?
Why doesn't she throw it at Ares? She just discards it.
I don't know.
But why'd you bother to pick it up?
When she threw it the way she did, I was like, did she just casually throw a tank like that? Because it looked like she didn't even aim. She just went like it was like an overhand throw just to know.
We were interrupted.
Yeah, we were interrupted. Sorry about that.
Because Andrew forgot to plug in the laptop. A+. You did it.
You're welcome, audience.
A+.
It's okay.
We're professionals.
Yeah.
Again, still professionals. One of these days we'll get through an entire spoiler cast without having a cut in the middle of it.
Yes.
Last time it was because it was getting too dark.
All right.
We set up that light. Forgot to plug in the laptop.
But don't worry, soon it will be fixed.
It's fine. The movie's over already. She beats the bad guy. It's really boring.
Yeah, she basically...
It's so boring. Like, as the person who... Like, going into this, I thought that I'd be defending this movie a lot. Because I know I liked it significantly more than Andrew did. But I find it very hard to defend because most things he says are all generally right. Like,
I'm not being stubborn about it.
It feels
I'm not trying to be unrealistic.
The movie feels like the Prometheus experience I had where I watched it and I'm like, yeah, that was all right. And then the moment I started thinking about it, I'm like, that thing and that, what the fuck was that? No, that? Oh, fuck. Yeah. And like, it kind of falls apart when you think about it too much.
Yeah. And I understand, like, I come off as very, like, I'm just going to hate everything.
Like, there's very little I can defend about this movie other than that I kind of was all right with it. But man, this ending's boring.
Ending's super boring. She basically, like, pummels him a lot, and then he, like, throws lightning at her. She doesn't get shocked by it. She just absorbs it.
There's a part where all of the lightning's all over her gauntlets and she's like, and then she for some reason, and she clearly has like no understanding what it looks like either. Like it's just added special effects afterwards that doesn't fit the scene very well.
Because she just keeps like looking at her bracelets.
I assume he's unleashing the final power remnants of power from Zeus at her, and she's setting it back at him, and that's what's going on basically because it's lightning and it's like Zeus's power who is gone now.
But she does it's really weird because she does
really awkward poses with it.
Yeah, but she does like to do her last move before she kills him. She puts her clefs together, like she does for the explosion, but then a beam comes out. She like shoots a fucking beam out of her bracelets by doing it like this.
Yeah, she kamehamehas. That was way too many syllables, but it just blows them up.
Yeah, and it just goes right through him instantly.
Which is something that's just not really set up in any real way.
No.
So it just kind of happens like, oh, I guess it's over now.
Yep.
So it's one of the worst ending scenes for a while now, because every superhero movie pretty much has a really terrible ending where two people are just beating the shit out of each other and there's no apparent consequence for any of it. Like, the worst ones that come to mind for me are the endings of both Hulk movies. Yeah. Are like, I literally can't tell what I'm looking at in either of the ends of those movies, where it's just a Hulk fighting another big Hulk and they're like punching each other and maybe they're underwater or going through a building and like, I'm like, it's just noise on the screen at some point and eventually one of them wins.
Yeah, it's like watching a Godzilla movie where he's fighting another Godzilla.
The distinction between all the hits that don't matter and all the hits that do matter is so impossible to distinguish that you're just like, fucking wake me up when it's over. One of the only times I feel like I've cared about the end of one of these movies was Civil War. You watch Civil War?
Yeah, I watched Civil War.
Like, because it's a small room and it's Captain America and Iron Man just pummeling each other,
and they're not, like, and they don't have
destroying each other. Like the armors armors coming off and all the shit's going down. Like,
but the difference
it's a real fight's happening.
But the difference is they're both characters. See, the
characters you care about fighting for reasons you understand, even if you don't agree with them.
Yeah,
and damage is happening during the fight, and it's over in like a couple minutes.
But that's the thing. It's like that. The important factor to take away from that is they're two characters that are different. Yeah, because they have different abilities. So Iron Man has armor. And Captain America is just super strong. Yeah. So, you know, Captain America can punch him and it dents armor or it breaks it off. And he can just try to beam away his weapon.
And every part of the fight's conveying a concept of some kind. Yes. And, like, things are happening.
Yeah, things are happening. But when it's Wonder Woman versus Hades, they're just the same, or versus Ares. They have the same powers. They have the same strength, the same speed, the same everything.
It's like watching two CPUs fight each other in a fighting game with unlimited health.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, they sure are comboing each other.
It's basically like watching salty bets, but you program it to be. But then very
abruptly, out of nowhere, a super attack happens, and then the fight ends. I'm like, oh, okay, it's over now.
That's why I said it's like salty bets. It's like watching a salty bets fight where, hey, look, both of these characters are fighting. It's down to neck and neck. One just does a bullshit move.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well,
so
that was
I started liking the movie like 20% in ish, and I liked it all the way up until this moment where there's just nothing of value. Yeah. Like, the story falls apart. There's nothing that's really fun to watch. it's really boring. It takes too long, and then the movie's over. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah, it even does this weird thing, like as soon as
what
Ares...
a surprise, she won.
Yeah, as soon as Ares just blows up, everybody takes off their gas masks and is just super friendly with each other.
Because he apparently literally caused all of war on his own, and everyone's better now.
Yeah, like World War One was only because some
Everyone knows that it's called World War One because there wasn't another one. Yeah. Shit.
Well, he came back, you idiot.
Yeah, is there going to be a Wonder Woman sequel where they fight Hades again in World War II?
Well, no, because she didn't have a memory of World War II.
Yet.
Well, but this is in the current time.
They're gonna go back and they're gonna go to a...
By the way, just like let that sink in.
What?
We're in the current time.
Yep.
After World War One. So no one's caught on that she's literally Wolverine? No one's just kind of like, hey, is this okay that you've been living...
They probably know she doesn't age. Well, you saw BVS, right?
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen it. And do they know she's immortal?
No.
I guess, do they even know her in that movie, really?
No, they don't even know.
All I know about that movie is they go like, she with you? At the same time. Like, they both think that that she's with the other one. So no one knows why she's there.
Yeah, Batman or Superman have no fucking idea who she is.
I cannot bring myself to watch that movie.
It's an experience.
But I hate the endings of superhero movies like that, because like even Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like I enjoyed the entire movie up until the final fight, where I'm just like, it's just noise happening on the screen. It's like,
I mean, that's how I felt for Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I think the first
of just shit where everyone's just pummeling on each other. I'm like, all right.
I think the first Guardians ended like shit. I hated it. But I think the rest of the movie was okay.
But the first Guardians mostly doesn't have that specific ending.
No, but
they blow them away with the power of friendship.
But just bad endings.
Yeah,
and
it's not a great ending, but it's not that bad ending.
No,
it's not that specific one. It's not the one that almost every superhero movie has.
But I'm saying like I don't think like superhero movies end well.
Yeah,
I don't think you can write a good ending to a superhero movie. I mean, what, Kick-Ass?
Maybe Iron Man 3. Or is it where all the suits are being destroyed because he's proven that he doesn't need them anymore?
Yeah, all the suits just fly like fireworks.
That was at least conveying some kind of character thing at the very least.
Yeah.
Compared to what else, I guess. But yeah, so that was Wonder Woman.
That's Wonder Woman.
I was not totally bored aside from the ending, so it was fine as a movie. I'll never watch it again, I don't think. And Andrew hated it.
I hated it. I hated pretty much every single moment.
I was just so relieved to not be watching Suicide Squad, and that gave it. My expectations were so beat down, which apparently doesn't work on you because you just watched Batman vs Superman beforehand.
Yeah,
and that didn't do anything to you.
Here's the thing. A takeaway for me, or the reason it upsets me, is like Batman v Superman is. Batman v Superman is a better movie than this.
Is it really?
It is. Because Batman v Superman is comically bad. When you watch it, you can at least chuckle about how dumb.
So you thought it was so bad it's good, whereas you thought this one was too mediocre to be interesting?
Yeah, this one is just bad on a not entertaining level.
It's not... I just don't have anything drawing me to ever watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't the CGI didn't look good to me. The fighting scenes didn't look good to me. Like definitely the acting wasn't good to me, except for Chris, the fucking star of the show. And like everything else just didn't seem good. At least Batman v Superman had like stupid lines and like really dumb acting, and it was like you could tell it was just not well made, but it was well made in that like Transformers way.
Do you bleed?
Yeah, like it's
you will.
It's like it's so there's so many quotable dumb lines from Batman v Superman
that I know without watching.
Yeah, there's none.
I don't even have to go through the hard part to benefit from that.
There's none from Wonder Woman.
I already know about Save Martha.
Yeah, there's not a single line from Wonder Woman I would quote in a meme style. There's just nothing funny about this movie. There's nothing entertainingly funny about this movie being bad. It's just not good on a not good level.
Yeah, it feels mediocre at best.
Yeah.
I think it kind of feels like people decided in advance that there was going to be this narrative that this was the movie that would redeem DC.
I get that feeling.
It feels like people were looking for that to happen.
Yeah.
And so they kind of it feels like people kind of confirm that for themselves.
I went in with the expectation that it was going to be just as shit as every other DC movie.
Yeah.
And I walked away feeling like this is actually not even up to par with the other DC movies in terms of quality. Like I feel like Superman Man of Steel looked better.
Was it even as good as like Thor Dark World? The one that people forget exists because it was not great.
Thor Dark World at least looked good.
At least they had a fun action scene where everyone's going through portals.
Like, the action scene looks good.
Even though it's totally baffling how girlfriend gets summoned to the exact demon hole that
Yeah,
causes the whole story to happen.
I don't know about that, but but I mean, like a lot of, I don't know, like I feel bad because I think DC just keeps, I don't know what they're doing, but they keep shooting themselves in the foot, and I need them to stop doing that.
It's Zack Snyder.
I don't know what it is. It's
probably
because it's just
they've put him in control of the whole thing, it seems, and I don't know if he really knows how to structure this kind of thing.
Obviously he doesn't.
Like, I've never known Zack Snyder to tell a coherent story. He just does things visually. Like, I actually enjoy watching Sucker Punch, which is basically like some sort of bullshit, hyper unrealistic, like anime music video of the movie. Like, it's weird music playing that's always covers, but like stylish genre shift covers in many cases of songs I like, crossed with like schoolgirl outfit samurai girls fighting against mechs and steampunk zombies.
Okay.
And like that's the movie.
But it's not, it doesn't go in with
not like, wow, story, good job.
It doesn't go in with the intention of trying to say anything.
Having him control your 10 plus movie universe. It seems baffling.
Yeah, it seems like a bad idea.
Because he's never made a movie where that was known for its interesting and well done storytelling.
And yeah, I just think, I don't think...
Like, that's not what 300 is. And that's not what Dawn of the Dead was, the remake.
Oh, did he make...
He made the remake of Dawn of the Dead where they're stuck in the mall and everything's really orange.
Make 300 as well?
Yeah.
God, he couldn't even do fucking slow-mo right again?
No, this movie is not by Zack Snyder.
Oh.
But Zack Snyder made both Superman movies.
Okay.
And he's like the guy leading this whole thing. Like he's the producer on this one, and he's the producer on Suicide Squad.
So he saw this and was like, yeah, that slow-mo's okay.
That's what he does.
The guy who made an entire movie in slow-mo. You're telling me he fucking signed off on this shitty half-baked slow-mo? Fuck, man.
It's weird because it's like if you had Michael Bay. It's like if Michael Bay was your guy that was controlling the Star Wars universe. It's like, why are you giving that property to Michael Bay?
Oh God, what are you
doing?
I think George Lucas would literally buy back Star Wars. Like, I think he would, if like Disney was like, okay, Michael Bay's gonna lead it, I think George Lucas would fund more money from like Kickstarter and buy back from Disney.
It's like you got a director, he has a style, and his movies make money, I think, but like,
he's not.
Why is he? Yeah. Why are you having control of this thing?
He's not like a leader in that. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And you're gonna hedge all bets on Zack Snyder. The fuck?
In either case,
Disney hedged Star Wars on J.J. Abrams, and Warner Brothers hedged all of DC on Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, Warner Brothers has made worse mistakes, like most of their existence, but
I'll take your word for that.
Warner Brother movies are genuinely
very broad statement.
Warner Brother movies are genuinely handled pretty poorly.
I admittedly don't. Outside of superhero movies, where it's really easy to follow,
Harry Potter.
I don't usually notice who's behind most movies.
Yeah, I mean, all the Harry Potters were done with Warner Brothers.
Those are good. I know we'll argue on about that, but
yeah, whatever. But what else is? I mean, they have a ton of stuff. I'm trying to think of.
By the way, do you know that you have a framed Harry Potter thing next to your TV?
Yes, I'm aware. It's a mistake I made as a child.
You were not a child when the Horcrux symbols were made. I mean, the elders, whatever it's called, the elder sign or whatever.
Yeah,
I
know what it's from.
Yeah, it's the cloak, and it's the, I don't remember what the circle is anymore, and the elder wand. That's like the last book.
Yeah.
You can't claim you were a child.
No, I was a child.
And why is it still there? Is it glued to the wall?
No, it's glued to the wall, Keith. I glued it to the wall and I can't get it off.
I don't understand why you're keeping it. Is it like family or something?
Yeah, because family gave it to me.
Weird.
I mean, if you want to get into it,
did they think you liked Harry Potter?
Yes, they do. That's the mistake. I made the mistake as a child by reading the first 2 books and going to see 3 of the movies.
On the topic of talking about things that no one can see in this podcast, your webcam looks like Darth Vader in the shadow.
Why can't it be Darth Vader?
It looks really weirdly like Darth Vader.
In any case.
Anyway, that was Wonder Woman.
That was Wonder Woman. Keith recommends seeing it once, apparently.
I don't really recommend it. I just don't actively condemn it the way I did the last few DC movies.
I actively condemn it.
But yeah, I'm not really into it.
I don't think it's okay.
It was fine.
I Yeah,
Shadow, no.
I feel
you're ruining our audio.
I feel genuinely bad for anybody who would go see this movie under the impression of the Metacritic or Rotten Tomato score, because it's not realistically accurately portrayed.
See ya next time.
See you next time for the next bad movie.
Everyone hate Andrew in the comments.
It's gonna be transformed.
He doesn't check the comments out of paranoia about how people appreciate him or
That's
anything.
not true. I do. So if you say bad things, I read it, and I'll feel bad.